Hollywood. The name conjures images of glamour, fame, and fortune. For over a century, this California town has been synonymous with the entertainment industry. It's a place where dreams are made and broken, where stories are brought to life on the silver screen. From its humble beginnings as a small village, Hollywood rose to become a global phenomenon. It shaped American culture and influenced the world with its movies, stars, and music. This essay explores the rise and fall of Hollywood. We'll delve into its origins, its ascent to fame, and the factors that led to its decline. Join us as we take a deep dive into the history of the Dream Factory. In the early 1900s, Hollywood was a world away from the bustling movie scene of New York City. It was a small, sunny village known for its orange groves and wide-open spaces. Filmmakers, drawn to the favorable weather and cheap land, began to migrate west. They were escaping the strict regulations and legal battles that plagued the industry in the East. One such filmmaker was D.W. Griffith, a visionary director who saw the potential of this new frontier. Griffith's arrival, along with other pioneers like Cecil B. DeMille, marked the beginning of Hollywood as we know it. The industry quickly took root, with studios popping up like mushrooms after a rain shower. These studios, with names like Paramount, Warner Bros. And MGM, would become the powerhouses of the golden age of Hollywood. For the first few decades, Hollywood was a silent world. Movies relied on music, exaggerated gestures, and title cards to tell their stories. Then, in 1927, everything changed with the release of The Jazz Singer. This groundbreaking film starring Al Jolson featured synchronized dialogue and singing. Audiences were captivated. The talkies, as they were called, were an instant sensation. The advent of sound revolutionized the industry. Silent film stars, many of whom couldn't make the transition to spoken dialogue, faded from view. New talents with strong voices and charismatic screen presence emerged as the new icons of the silver screen. The talkies ushered in a new era of storytelling, paving the way for the elaborate musicals, gritty gangster films, and screwball comedies that would define Hollywood's golden age. The 1930s and 1940s are often considered Hollywood's golden age. During this period, the studio system reigned supreme. Studios like MGM, Paramount, and Warner Bros. Controlled every aspect of filmmaking. They had their own writers, directors, actors, and even their own theaters. This vertical integration gave them immense power and allowed them to churn out a constant stream of films. The Golden Age was a time of unparalleled creativity and innovation. It gave birth to some of the most iconic films ever made, from Gone with the Wind and Casablanca to The Wizard of Oz and Citizen Kane. These films, with their lavish sets, unforgettable characters, and compelling storylines, captured the imagination of audiences worldwide, solidifying Hollywood's status as the entertainment capital of the world. Section 5: Star Power from Garbo to Dean. Central to Hollywood's success was its ability to create and cultivate stars. These larger-than-life figures, with their beauty, talent, and charisma, became objects of adoration and emulation for millions. Greta Garbo, with her enigmatic allure, was the epitome of Hollywood glamour. Humphrey Bogart, with his trench coat and world-weary cynicism, became the quintessential anti-hero. James Dean, with his rebellious spirit and tragic end, embodied the angst of a generation. These stars and countless others transcended the screen. They became cultural icons, their images plastered on posters, magazines, and cigarette cases. Their personal lives, often as dramatic and scandalous as the roles they played, fueled the public's fascination with Hollywood. The studio system played a key role in shaping and controlling these stars' images. They carefully crafted their public personas, dictating everything from their hairstyles and wardrobes to their romantic relationships. Section 6: Television, the rise of a rival. In the late 1940s, a new threat emerged to challenge Hollywood's dominance: television. This new medium, with its ability to bring moving pictures into people's homes, quickly gained popularity. At first, Hollywood studios dismissed television as a fad. They refused to sell their films to TV networks and even barred their stars from appearing on the small screen. But as television's popularity soared, Hollywood was forced to adapt. Studios began producing content for television, and some even invested in their own TV networks. They also started experimenting with new technologies like widescreen formats and 3D in an attempt to lure audiences back to theaters. Despite these efforts, television had a profound impact on Hollywood. Movie attendance declined and studios were forced to cut back on production. The golden age was coming to an end. Section 7. New Hollywood, a wave of change. The 1960s and 70s saw a wave of change sweep through Hollywood. A new generation of filmmakers, influenced by European art cinema and disillusioned with the old studio system, emerged. These filmmakers, like Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, and Robert Altman, brought a new sensibility to Hollywood. Their films, often gritty, realistic, and character-driven, challenged the conventions of traditional Hollywood storytelling. This period, often referred to as New Hollywood, saw the rise of the auteur director. These directors, with their unique visions and personal styles, became the driving force behind their films. New Hollywood produced some of the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful films of all time, including The Godfather, Taxi Driver, and Jaws. These films pushed the boundaries of what was possible in mainstream cinema, ushering in a new era of artistic freedom and experimentation. Section 8. The blockbuster era: sequels, superheroes, and spectacle. By the 1980s, Hollywood had entered a new era, the blockbuster era. Fueled by the success of films like Star Wars and Jaws, studios began to focus on creating high-concept, special effects-driven films with mass appeal. This shift towards blockbusters led to a decline in the production of smaller, character-driven films. Studios were increasingly reluctant to take risks on original stories, preferring instead to invest in sequels, remakes, and adaptations of popular novels and comic books. The rise of the superhero film, starting with Tim Burton's Batman in 1989, further cemented the blockbuster's dominance. These films, with their simple storylines, dazzling special effects, and built-in fan bases, became surefire box office hits. The blockbuster era continues to this day, with franchises like Marvel and Star Wars dominating the box office. While these films have their place, their dominance has led to a certain homogenization of Hollywood's output. Section 9. Conclusion. Hollywood's legacy in the age of streaming. Hollywood today is a far cry from the dream factory of the golden age. The rise of streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus has fundamentally changed how audiences consume entertainment. Studios are no longer the sole gatekeepers of content. Streaming services, with their vast libraries and global reach, have become powerful players in the industry. They are producing their own films and TV shows, often with bigger budgets and more creative freedom than traditional studios. The COVID-19 pandemic further accelerated these trends, with theaters shutting down and audiences turning to streaming in droves. While theaters have since reopened, the pandemic's impact on Hollywood is undeniable. Despite these challenges, Hollywood remains a powerful force in the entertainment industry. Its films and TV shows continue to be watched by millions around the world, and while the future of Hollywood may be uncertain, its legacy as the birthplace of cinema and the dream factory is secure. From its humble beginnings as a small village, Hollywood has evolved into a global entertainment juggernaut. Its history is a tapestry woven from innovation, creativity, and of course, a healthy dose of drama. As we move further into the 21st century, it will be fascinating to see how Hollywood continues to adapt and evolve in the face of new challenges and opportunities.